What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Riverview Wellness podcast. My name is Sierra Meacham, your host, and today I have a very special guest on, Heather McCarel. She is a menopause, weight loss, female hormone coach specialist. She herself has lost a ton of weight. She's had a super incredible fitness health journey. She is actually here partnered with us at Riverview Wellness. And this is the second time that we've had her on. If you want to go back and listen to the first episode of when she came on, learn a little bit more about her there. But today I get to interview her. Reed got the chance to last time. So do you want to kick us off with, I don't know, talking about what, I want to talk about birth control. Big thing I want to talk about today. But how do you even get into this world with that type of coaching?
With hormone coaching specifically?
Yeah.
So I was in the group fitness realm for about 4 years, coaching there and just watching the members on the mat, also experiencing some frustrations myself as I was trying to lose weight. I joined a gym that was strictly HIIT classes. We always ran challenges and things like that, 6 weeks. And you'd see, men and women come in and want to do it together. And the woman is like, super strict, on her nutrition. And she's making at least 4 workouts a week. And her male counterpart is, half-assing the nutrition part. And still maybe coming to like 3 workouts. And his results are amazing. Like he continues to, reach his goals where she gets stuck every time. And I kind of experienced the same thing myself. And one day I was just, doom scrolling, Facebook and stumbled across a post about, women's menstrual cycles and our hormones and how as they fluctuate throughout the month, it affects our training and it affects our weight loss and it affects our mental health. And I never heard that before. And so that really made me want to dive down the rabbit hole a little bit more to find out how our cycles affect us as women when we're trying to lose weight or we're trying to gain muscle, and how we're different from men.
Yeah. Women are not small men, as the mighty Stacy Sims says.
Yes.
Yeah.
We definitely are not. We have some major biological, physiological differences. So the fact that we think that we can train like a man the same way and get the same results is, I don't know, it's crazy.
And why do you think a lot of women don't know about this? Because even me, like being a fitness coach and being super into the world of like health and wellness, it took a while for me to start to even learn like the tip of the iceberg of like, oh, training for women like might look different. Like I think you can train like a man and sometimes it does work, but a lot of women it doesn't work for. And like, why do you think most women don't know that?
Because we were never taught that. We were never taught in school how our menstrual cycles affect the rest of our body, how it affects our energy and our metabolism.
It weeks stress.
Right. Here we go. Have fun. You ovulate to, have babies and that's it. And, if you don't want to have a period and you don't want to have a baby, then just go on birth control and you're good to go. The problem's solved. Problem is solved. You have, heavy painful periods. You have bad acne. Here's birth control. Yeah, Jajic chill for you. Yeah, let's just turn off the hormones instead of figuring out what's causing them to what's causing them to give you these symptoms.
So birth control turns off your hormones. Can you speak a little bit more on that? Because I did want to dive into birth control because you talk about that a lot and problems with it. And that's something I've heard too, and I'm also I'm a faith-based person. I believe in God. I believe in God of the Bible. And so birth control has never quite stuck right with me on that level. not gonna say like it's wrong for all people, but it just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna put this artificial hormone in my body that is gonna block my body's natural ability to make babies. And I don't know, it sounds very artificial and like unnatural, and like it might create more problems than good. So
It definitely can cause more problems, and it usually does. So as far as birth control goes, when I say it, like it shuts down your hormones. Our hormones are fluctuating throughout the month. So from day to day, week to week, as women, men's hormones, testosterone, they're a straight line. Their energy is the same the entire month. But as women, as we go throughout the month, our hormones are changing us. The estrogen rises in our follicular phase just after we have our menstrual cycle. Then that testosterone kicks in and all of our hormones peak in mid-cycle at ovulation. And then after ovulation, obviously, you get that fall in the hormones. Men's don't do that. So when we have an imbalance in those hormones, that's what usually it's our estrogen that's a little bit too high. Our progesterone's not quite high enough to balance it out like it should. And so that's what causes us to get those cramps and heavy irregular periods or the acne or all of these other things that are causing the problems. And so the easiest way to make them stop is to turn our hormones off.
flatline those babies.
Yeah, just stay off. Just flatline them so that we don't have a period. And let me clear up. Some women don't understand also that when you're on the pill and you can still bleed, that's not a real period. It's just a withdrawal bleed.
Can you explain that a little bit more? Like, I've heard that being said, like it's a withdrawal.
Right.
So it's like your body's artificially like just pushing blood out of your uterus because it's known that for a long time.
Well, the lining has built up already. So you are shedding the uterine lining. When you stop taking the birth control pill, then you take the sugar pill, the 7 days of the sugar pill, and that's when you get your cycle. That's how you can predict it. But it's not, you haven't ovulated. So it's not a real period when you're shedding that lining. Your body has not released the progesterone, the testosterone.
But it's still building up that lining that would house an egg if there was one, but
Yes. So that will still shed, but it's because the synthetic hormones are causing that period. It's not your real hormones causing that bleed. So it's just a withdrawal bleed from taking away the hormone that's in the birth control pill.
Huh. And so what are the long-term repercussions of that? You say you're flatlining your hormones. So why does that matter? Why shouldn't I do that?
So ovulation, like I mentioned before, ovulation is not just for making babies. When we ovulate, our body releases the hormones, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. These hormones have other jobs. They communicate with our cells in our body. So it's protecting our mental health, to prevent Alzheimer's. It's protecting our cardiovascular health, to protect our heart from heart disease. It's protecting our bones and our joints so that we don't get osteoporosis or sarcopenia when we get older. So the longer we suppress ovulation, the more health issues we're likely going to have as we get older. Because we haven't been protecting our brain. We haven't been protecting our heart with the release of those hormones. So
They got in all the hormones that are supposed to be reinforcing things in our body and building things in our body to protect us. And
right, they're not getting released.
yeah.
So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So why are people getting these symptoms that then are getting prescribed birth control? I have acne. I have really painful, heavy menstrual cycles. Like, how do I solve these symptoms if not through birth control? Why am I getting these symptoms?
It's our environment. It's in our food. It's in our cleaning products. It's in our beauty products.
Dropped an episode all about this. You should go listen to the last episode.
Yeah. So these toxins in our environment they're actually causing our hormones to be imbalanced,
To go haywire.
Yes. So by changing our diet, by eliminating these toxins in our environment, we can rebalance our hormones naturally. The lotion, your Bath and Body Works lotion that you're putting on that smells amazing is not helping your hormones. Your bleach that you're cleaning your house with,
It's bad.
it's terrible. Your Lysol, disinfectant spray, all of those things are causing your hormones to be imbalanced. Now, that being said, there are things that we can do. There's foods that actually will help detox these excess estrogens and hormones in our body. For example, broccoli and cauliflower too. They're cruciferous vegetables. They're also called phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens help to detox those excess hormones in our bodies so that we don't have to experience some of these debilitating symptoms that we get from hormone imbalance.
Yeah.
So
What about for the woman who, I don't know, wants, like, what does it do for fertility?
as far as what does what do for fertility?
I guess just like being on birth control, does that have negative implications for fertility? I feel like I hear a lot of things that can negatively impact fertility. I feel like nowadays people are having a harder time getting pregnant in general.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, we're shutting off our ovulation. And a lot of us have been on birth control for years. I know a lot of women, they say 10 years plus maybe. So it's almost like your body almost forgets what it's supposed to be doing. Like making the egg and releasing the egg. And then, so a lot of times after you've been on birth control for a while, it takes time for your body to figure out what it's supposed to be doing. But you also have to remember for whatever reason you went on birth control for, when you take it away, that problem's still there. So, let's say, you went on it for acne, but you didn't address what was causing the hormone imbalance that was giving you the acne. So let's just come right back. So like I said, going back to the fertility, your body has to remember what to do, but also you've been putting the synthetic hormones into your body as well. And so putting the synthetic hormones into your body, we've got to get those out, detox that, and then
Your natural hormones can do what they're supposed to do. That, and I guess you also, like, your health maybe has some restoring to do, because you that it hasn't been able to protect certain functions.
it's going to take a while to regulate, at least minimum 3 months, just to get your cycles back regular, if they come back at all.
So what are some basic steps that, I feel like we can make a whole episode out of this. Maybe we'll have you come back on for doing a part 2 of this, but like, we'll finish off here with what are some basic steps that somebody could take if they wanted to get off of birth control. It sounds like they shouldn't necessarily just get off of it immediately if they had all these symptoms.
You definitely want to talk to your doctor and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask them questions.
And then you are the biggest advocate for your health.
Yes, you are your own biggest advocate. If they tell you, a lot of doctors will say, it's normal. Great. It is normal for a lot of women, but it's not optimal.
Yeah.
Optimal is the key. You want to feel optimal. And if your doctor isn't, willing to be helpful, then there are other places that you can go to help. I always recommend supplementation. First of all, you've got to replace nutrients that birth control is depleting, like your magnesium, your vitamin D, and zinc. Those are three nutrients that being on birth control will deplete your body of. So getting those supplements in there. And also I like to recommend Vitex Chaseberry, which is an herbal supplement that really helps to regulate your hormones. You should ask your doctor before you start using that one if you have breast cancer that runs in your family. But otherwise, it is safe to use. And I personally used it when I got off birth control, and I didn't have the heavy, painful periods that I had before I got on birth control because I started using that before I got off. My periods were not as bad.
Yeah.
So it's really about learning how to work with your body, tuning into your body and how you feel, because you know better than anyone, better than any doctor can even tell you, if something's off and if something's wrong.
Putting your foot down for like, this isn't normal, even though a lot of people deal with it. Correct. I mean, the low energy, the crazy periods that are like putting you out for the day for work.
Right.
I think that's not right. That's not normal.
You shouldn't have to miss work. You shouldn't have to skip a workout because you're in pain. Now, yes, it's not ideal to, do heavy squats on the first day of your period. Nobody wants to do that. But it's also it's not an excuse to skip. You know what I'm saying? It's more of know your body and make adjustments to your lifestyle.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, awesome. That was super informative. If anyone of our listeners has more questions about birth control or their hormones, menstrual cycles, yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Riverview_wellness and Facebook at Riverview Wellness. Please leave us those questions. It helps us to steer the show on what you guys need. Also, if you got something helpful out of this, please leave us a 5-star review. That would also be super amazing for helping us grow. You can connect with me at sierrameacham.livefit on Instagram. Or where can they find you, Heather?
I'm at WanderCoach757 on Instagram, and my website's wandercoachva.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, Heather.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening. This is the Riverview Wellness Podcast, empowering you to live a new well. See you next time.